So back to incorporating this lithium battery and supercap into my system. I've had the idea of going completely lead acid free and just all lithium supercap, but in the meantime I've had to invent a dual chemistry system just because I'm not ready to mount the supercap in the front engine bay just yet. I wanted to see how it sounded in the back engine bay, back boot, and I've been experimenting with this dual chemistry. You have to connect it when the engine's running, and you have to disconnect it when the engine's not running, because you don't want to waste your lithium on the lead acid, because they have a different voltage when at rest. So you have to have things like this. They're called voltage sensing relays. They turn off the power. In an old system, when you had two lead acid batteries, when the alternator goes down, it disconnects both batteries. But when you have a lithium, the voltage stays up, and these things don't work. So I've had to rig a system where these things, they're the same, on a relay just for the ground, and this ground is lifted when the engine is off. You turn the key, and the grounds cannot be connected without the key in the engine, or a switch as well, so it's doubly protected. Anyway, so I went through other ways of doing it. I was running one of these and it was getting really hot, and so I decided to buy one of these, and these are designed for winching and other kinds of heavy current situations. But the problem is they don't tell you on the packet. You're not really meant to run them for more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes in any one situation, because these, again, get hot and it almost burns your fingers when you're touching the bottom. I think it's because the actuator contacts aren't really rated for continuous load, forever loads. So the other day, on a 50-minute drive, I had this switched in for about 20-25 minutes, and that's when I realised that that's no good. I also trialled one of these as a dual chemistry solution. This is called a DC to DC converter, and say your alternator's putting out 60 amps or 90 amps, and you only want to charge your lithium at, say, 20 amps, because that's what they say you should do. And the AGM, the lead acid, is only connected through this to the lithium. Now, the problem with that is you want to listen to your stereo as well, and that's consuming, say, 10, 15, 20, sometimes more amps, and you can't charge the lithium because you're listening to music, and you're eventually going to run out of lithium. And then I've tried combinations where I had this and this, turning on, turning off. Try combinations with this, and just selectively turning that on and off when I needed full connection. And so I needed a more permanent solution, and I haven't tried it a full field test just yet, but the current solution is going back to these, but having two of them. I only had one, so two of them means I can run forever when the engine is running. So I've got 140 amp, so 280 amps of safe connection. And because I'm always going to be listening to the stereo, and if I'm not listening to the stereo too, it shouldn't really matter, because your alternator is only putting out sort of twice, 3 times what they suggest this should have. But the closer that gets to fully charged, the less amps it draws anyway. It's kind of just science. and you also get a front battery that's connected that's sucking in some of those amps as well. But I listen to the stereo 98% of the time, so that's taking up 20 amps from the alternator anyway. So I think it's a pretty fair, safe bet that these two guys should do the job, not get too hot. And the only other reason that people don't like these in a lithium lead acid situation, because they're mainly lead and lead usages, is that sometimes when you listen to music, the voltage drop on your lithium and the front battery and the alternator are sometimes less than the cut in. Sometimes your whole system is running below 13.3. So they all have the cut in 13.3. Cut in 13.3. So that's an issue. But it dawned on me, like, just one day I thought, well, this one here has an override, so it connects the batteries regardless. And I thought, I could pull this cover off and pop that switch out and have a switch to run this dedicated from the front. I could just switch this in and out, and that's when I was doing a mixed topology, mixed solution with all that other gear. But now I'm running this forever. I don't need to run a relay on this switch at the front of the car. I just have this switched in 24/7, and I control the relay for the ground. These are the grounds. They're on a relay, and the coil is activated from the front accessory across this coil, which switches the ground in and out to the ground from here to there. So yeah, that was, and this one had override wire as well, which I had never used for 5 years, and now I'm using that function of this thing. So these are both on override mode, and they both only work when the key is in and you're ready to rock. So that's probably where I'll leave this video, and you can all marvel at this wonderfully neat wiring. This one's going to get screwed in somewhere. That's my charging at home port, and this flips up that way and has a lovely lid. Alright, that's the end of that one.